All right, welcome back to another episode of No BS Just News with Steve. As always, I'm your host. Thanks for tuning in to the best YouTube around. Just kidding. So, the bill moves to the Senate. The American Rescue Plan passed the House late Friday into Saturday morning at about 2 a.m. It now moves to the Senate, where they're going to have to do some amendments from the House bill, probably, most likely. It'll go back to the Senate. They'll vote on it, or excuse me, it'll go back to the House if there's amendments made to the bill, which it looks like there will be. And then the House will likely pass the new version of the bill they receive, and then it will go to Biden for the signature, and then it will be signed into law once he signs it, and checks will start going out. Unemployment will be increased. They'd like to do this before March 14th. That's when unemployment ends and a lot of other federal protected entities end. So hopefully it gets there before the 14th. Biden did speak, and he'd like to see this bill get through the Senate with urgency. And if it has to go back to the House because the Senate makes amendments, it'll go back, and then it will go up to the presidency. So we're pushing it here. It's been 60 days since the last bill was signed into law by President Trump. So we are definitely pushing the time frames. Here's what I don't understand, and it's not that I don't understand it. I just don't get the logic behind it. It's ridiculous to me. You got a lot of channels out there that are just complete clickbait. Some of them are clickbait titles, and then they put some good information within the video. And I reference to It's Jimmy. A lot of his say approved, finally, yes, it's passed, $1,400 checks coming. Here's the thing, nothing's been approved yet. It's only got through the House. Is it going to get to the Senate, maybe back to the House, to the president for signature? Of course, yeah. That's going to happen for a fact. If it doesn't, I'll be definitely surprised. I was surprised to see that 2 Democrats didn't vote for the bill in the House. And I think in the Senate you still have Joe Manchin and Kyrsten Sinema, who they're still on the fence, right? I don't know if they're going to vote for it. We need their votes. So it'd be a 50-50 vote with Kamala Harris being the tiebreaker. You're not going to see minimum wage increased to $15. A lot of companies are already doing that. Costco has increased to $16. Walmart increased their employees. However, with the increase came they're not doing 40 hours a week. They've slashed their hours back to like a more of a part-time basis, which kind of equals out that raise. So it's kind of a wash. I went to dinner with my family this weekend, and they helped us move, and it was a big help. So I told them, the least I could do is take you to dinner. And I noticed we ended up going to Red Lobster, and we've been there a ton of times, my wife and I. But usually, like when you go to Red Lobster, they give you with your meal, it comes with a salad or soup, and there's just extras. They go over the menu really well. They tell you what the specials were. We asked the guy what the specials were. There was no specials. Of course, it was Red Lobster Fest. That's going on almost always. It no longer comes with the super salad. That's all extra. The portions are a lot smaller. So my point to all that is a lot of these companies have cut back due to the economy. It's hurting right now. And it's almost like it was in 2007 when the housing market was just booming, from like 98 all the way to 2007. And 2008, what did it do? It crashed. I think I honestly think the housing market is going back to that time. I hate to say it, but I really do. It's at its all-time high right now. It's crazy how high the housing market is. Never buy high. Never buy on a high market. It's not a good idea. However, a lot of people are doing it, and I get it, right? A lot of people are coming from California. They've sold their house for triple what they could buy for here, and they're buying the house cash, and they're buying the equity right out of it. A friend of mine sold his house in 24 hours, and the buyer paid 20% over asking price. So it's crazy what you can get in California versus what you can get here. You can get a 3 times the size of the house for 3 times less than what you can get in California. They're selling their house for $800,000-900,000, and they're buying a house here for $250,000, $350,000, maybe even $400,000, and they're paying cash because of the equity they've got out of their house coming from California. We're a blue state now. We're no longer a red state. We're a blue state. Tons and tons of people are moving to Arizona because of the cost of living. The housing market is really it's high, but it's super affordable, especially if you're coming from another state where you've made a lot of money and you've now stockpiled that right into the stock market, and you own your house outright. If they're not buying it for cash, they're putting a big payment down, so they're or a chunk down payment, so their monthly payment isn't crazy. So I don't know, but these channels drive me nuts. They drive me nuts that they clickbait people into them. And then, yeah, some of them provide good information. And, you know, I harp on It's Jimmy a lot, but he does provide some good insight. They do a lot of research, like he says. But get rid of those clickbait-ass titles. Just say, look, it's still, you know, whatever your title's going to be. And I get it, I guess. You know, he's getting 200,000, 300,000, 400,000 views of video, making probably 40, 50 grand a month, just mainly off YouTube. A lot of these YouTubers making big money. I watch Logan Alk and Stephen Garner are 2 of my favorite stimulus topic and stock market YouTubers, and they also make big money. Stephen Garner makes big money. He's almost at 1 million subs. And when he started talking about stimulus, this started over a year ago, or just under a year ago, you know, a lot of people have found a monetary gain in it. And it is what it is. It's a business. YouTube is a business. So, and a lot of people are YouTubers and don't talk about stimulus. They vlog all day and they do car things and they do a lot of different content. But YouTubers make big money. I'm not in that category. I make a decent amount on YouTube, but it's not my full-time job. As you guys see, I don't edit a lot of my videos. I'm trying to get into that. I'm trying to put a lot more time and invest. I've bought a lot of equipment, new camera, microphones, stands, lights. I've got a lot of new things, but I just haven't invested the time in it, and I apologize for that to all my loyal viewers and my goon squad. And I'd like to put some shirts out there or something for you guys to be able to purchase. And just, you know, represent my channel. I'm just not there yet. So I don't want to do that and then not be able to support any type of demand. Not saying that I would have a demand. But for myself, I think I have a pretty decent following. I got a lot of positive viewership, a lot of positive feedback, a lot of loyal subs, and I appreciate it because loyalty is hard to find nowadays. Integrity is definitely not around anymore. I mean, it's just crazy, the new generation, and I'm not harping and bad mouthing and blah blah blah, but it's different. You're raised different. You know, I was raised in a time where, you know, my parents, my parents' parents, my parents' parents' parents, all they knew was to work. That's all they did. And they worked their jobs for 40, 50, 60 years. My mom was in her job for 50 years. And my dad, same. He worked not 50, but 30 some, and you know, you don't see that anymore. I think the average now is 2-3 years and people move on. Not a bad thing. I've been with the state for about, I don't know, almost 11 years now, or 10 or 11. And but I kind of, you know, I transferred to a different agency, and I had to start into a new retirement. I was in a public safety retirement and blah, blah, blah. But it's just, I'm hoping that these checks go out soon. I did talk to the IRS again. It does sound like they may let you go in and update your checking account information or whatever your bank account is, whether it's a savings, checking. If you had some old information in there and it's no longer valid, it's closed. Or they will just, if they don't do that, it sounds like if they recognize your bank account was closed on the last stimulus, they will just go ahead and mail the payment out. So make sure your information is up to date. If you file your 2020 tax return, or if you filed and you are getting a return and you've entered your bank account information, that's where that information or that check will go. But make sure your address is up to date if, in fact, you know that you're going to have your check mailed, which a lot of us don't know. If you have direct deposit information on file with the IRS, most times they just shoot that check right out, and if it's a closed bank account, then it has to return. And you know, we've been through that. So make sure your information is up to date. As I've said in previous videos, you can call the IRS directly and update your address right over the phone. They may give you a little bit of a fight to that because they'd rather you mail it in, but then you got to wait that much longer. It's taken 3 to 6 to 9 weeks to process that. And by the time the stimulus is passed, it could go to an old address. But they did say they do forward it. But some post offices don't forward mail from the IRS. So you have to check with your local post office to see if they're going to forward your, if you do get a mail check and your address is not up to date, are they going to forward that? So go to USPS.gov, update your address, call the IRS, update your address, and then make sure your address is changed with your local motor vehicle department because by law you have 10 days to update your information. So with that, I appreciate everybody tuning in on this Monday morning. Stay tuned for more content to come. I do see that I think student loan forgiveness is going to be there. I don't think it's going to be 50 grand, but you're looking at, probably 10,000 for student loan forgiveness. That has never been done, not even talked about. So pay attention to that. If you got some student loans, you could probably get up to 10 grand for loan forgiveness. A lot of different states are doing different things. They also have a new plan for child care credits. I think it starts in June or July. If you've got a child under the age of 6, you'll get $300 extra a month into 2022. If the child is 6 and over, it'll be $250 a month into 22 with an option to extend it from there. So that's on top of the $1,000 child credit you already receive. So that's a pretty good deal. I know California's kicking out their own stimulus checks. So I don't know. There's some good things going on, but the moratorium is getting ready to expire. So if you're behind on your water bill, your electric bill, and you just haven't been able to pay it, that's about to expire. And there's no longer going to be, you're not going to be saved from cutoff dates where they're not shutting your services off. You're going to have to pay that back pay of the bill you owe, or they're going to cut your services off. So they got to get this bill passed, and they got to get it into law. So all these moratoriums and the unemployment insurance extends, which I think they will. I think you'll see it signed into law on or before March 14th, and then stimulus checks will start going out right away. They're $1,400 per person. So like I said, a family of 4, what is that, $5,600, $5,800? Do the math. It's pretty decent. If you got more than that, you get more than, you're going to get more. So stay tuned. $1,400. It's a pretty decent amount, which would equal $2,000 from the $600 from the last stimulus. So thanks for tuning in. I definitely appreciate you guys, all my loyal Goon Squad. I appreciate all my new subs. Thank you. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe to this content. And even if you don't like it, go ahead and subscribe because it's free to do so. Anyway, y'all, thanks for tuning in. I appreciate it.